Hey everyone, welcome to the Sound Test Podcast. This is the host, Bryan here, and I'm joined by, well, since he's so happy, DeYante. Yeah, you champ. Yep, you.
Bruh, he looks like a kid in the candy store. I looked down at my screen and he's like,
Sounds like he's like
a kid high off sugar. A kid high off sugar.
And he got his insomnia cookies.
I feel great.
I'm freaking jealous.
Should be.
The person next to him with the melodious basso voice is Maximilian.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet your acquaintance.
I just realized he has the pop filter too. I'm just now noticing.
Yes. No.
Yeah, I was talking about it.
Pop filter. Yes.
Yeah, we were having a pop test. Passed it. Fine colors.
And the one to my right in the Eevee hoodie, Clayton.
It's the quiet storm.
I don't know what's worse, you starting it every time your introduction with Japanese words, or you like getting uncomfortably close into the microphone.
You know, I could do both.
Oh no.
No, you don't gotta.
I don't know what he's saying.
Violent.
Right, I feel uncomfortable. I don't know what he's saying.
Oh my
I
God.
just said I am, and then I said my name.
Okay. Well, it is the end of the year when we're recording this. So this is actually going to be posted by the new year. So by the time this is posted, it will be 2023.
Yeah.
So 2022 was a interesting year. I'll say that much. Yeah. 2022 was an interesting year in a lot of aspects. But we're not going to dwell on the rougher parts of the year or the, things we couldn't control within this year. Let's try to end this year on a positive note, and let's focus on the top games that we've personally played in 2022. So like for clarification, this is not like the best. This is not like
Oh, absolutely not.
this is not like the top games of 2022 ranked and like no.
No,
We're all
we're
like,
not that professional.
yeah, we're all busy. We all have like full-time jobs. We all have like things going on personal. So like when we can game, we game. But we're not going to like literally play every single thing that comes out. But we do have say it again.
Said that with inflation.
Right. I'm telling you, baby, Game Pass. But anyway, we do have a very diverse like set of games to talk about, which is really cool. So you get a perspective from many different things that we've played through this year, just not, the same 10 games that everybody's going to talk about from every medium and stuff like that. So, I think I'll go first just to set things up. And my first game that I want to talk about is Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga.
This baby ass game,
Man.
bro.
No, this game is underrated. This game is underrated. This game is highly underrated.
Thank you, Max.
I heard this was awesome.
So, I recently got into Star Wars in like the last 2 years. And I never played any of the actual Lego games. This will be my second Lego game. The first one I played was Lego Jurassic World, just because I was still am a massive Jurassic Park fan. But what they did in this game is similar to that game, in which Lego Jurassic World took the 4 movies up until that point and put them together in like one package. So you got to experience every like movie within the Lego universe. They did the same thing in this game, but just for all 9 movies in the Star Wars like main series, which is a lot. So it's essentially like 9 chunky cinematic experiences throughout the thing. And the greatest thing about this game is the humor. Like, it's obviously it's still like it's tailored for kids, so you can only go so far with child humor. But as a Star Wars fan, they do a lot of like funny in jokes with the series. They really play on the fact that they're Lego pieces in the actual game itself. Like, at the end of episode 1, when they fought Darth Maul, it was this super like emotional thing. And like, when Qui-Gon died, it was just like, Jesus, this was Obi-Wan's master. And like, you still go through the fight in the game, but like once once he gets when he gets like split in half, like you just still see his like bottom part of him going around
because he's the Lego pieces.
Yeah, and he's like trying to kick Obi-Wan.
What the hell?
It's like stuff like that happens in this game it's so funny. Like, and they make a joke of the actual Star Wars franchise itself. But I love it. It's really fun. It's kind of too much. Like, it's 9.
Never too much Lego.
Because it's like, okay, there's 9 of the movies, and each kind of like they break it up into like episode 1, and you just do all events of episode 1, and there's several levels within that. So like, if you're just like gunning through the game and just kind of like just playing through the story beats and playing through all the bosses and levels and all that stuff, each like movie will take you about 2 to 3 hours to complete. But in the fashion of Lego games, they're meant to be replayed. So like,
oh yeah, boy, these Lego games always have a ton of extra content. When I used to play the OG Lego Star Wars games, like on the original Xbox or 360, like those games are jam packed with content, like jam packed.
Like it basically just seems like a way, like an upgraded, updated version of the classic Lego Star Wars Saga game, like where it was completed, but this time just with the Skywalker saga included.
Well,
along with it being on a new engine and a bunch of new stuff and voice acting.
Well, yeah. So for clarification, it's all brand new. Like, none of the stuff from the original Lego Star Wars games are in here. They reimagined everything. So it's essentially all new content.
Nice.
Gotcha.
And speaking of voice acting, that's the thing that's also I found really cool. So like, there's some scenes where they do have like the original voice actors from the movie clips. But the times where they couldn't, instead of, and I thought it was really smart, instead of having like, what's his name reprise his role, Anakin's voice actor. And Anakin, who was Anakin?
Mark Hamill.
No, Mark Hamill.
No, that's Luke. That's Luke.
Oh,
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name right now though.
God, why I can't remember it. And I watched Obi-Wan this year anyway. But instead of having, Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, in the role, they took the voice actors from the Clone Wars show to reprise their roles in here. So,
nice.
So it wasn't like it's just a brand new person playing Obi-Wan, a brand new person playing Anakin. They took the people from the Clone Wars, and since those characters are already like very familiar in the roles, it just sounded natural and it sounded normal, and it just it blends in really, really well. So like, and again, they could play on that because they take the humor, and with new lines and dialogue, they can actually just play around with that stuff. So yeah, Lego Star Wars was a big highlight to me. It was one of the few games this year that I was like, all right, here's my $70. I'm buying it at launch, and I'm playing it at launch. With Game Pass, I don't have to do that much, but Lego Star Wars was that game that I was like, all right, I'm buying this at launch. I'm gonna experience this, full package. And the game is like really gorgeous for a Lego game. Like the graphical fidelity in the game is really nice.
Yeah, it looks like a next gen game, even though it's Lego. Right. It's like it's dope.
The new evolution in Star Wars, Lego games, period, so far. So they're probably going to be using this engine, for their next couple of movie, games that they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
After a certain point in my life, Like I used to love playing Lego Star Wars, Lego Star Wars 2, the complete saga. I played Lego Batman. I played a lot of Lego games, but after a certain point in my life, I stayed away from them like the plague because a lot of them were recycled. It was the same game. Like the gameplay wasn't any different. None of
Yeah.
it was really different. It was just like same thing, just with a different
Like,
environment.
like the
So I'm glad they
swing.
switched.
So like
Yeah,
that, like if y'all was looking at the screen, like
yeah, I seen it.
like they just did it just a full on anime style, like slice, and then like the last character died. Like it's just stupid little jokes like that. I just love in this game. And I think it's best to watch the movie and then play through that level in the game that the movie's based on because it's
Hmm.
more fresh in your mind. All right, but that was me rambling on. Who would like to go next?
Uh, I can do one since I have multiples.
Mm.
Where to start? I have to look at the list again so I can make sure that I don't say too many. Um, I'll start with one specifically to me. Monster Hunter. On PC. Monster Hunter Rise, more specifically. Because this year was when it officially got released on PC. Last year it got released on just the Nintendo Switch. And then they released, their little expansion, Sunbreak, which is still ongoing now. And they've, added new monsters, new mechanics and stuff. And I did play the game originally on Switch for quite a bit, like at least 20, 30 hours or so. Just because. But something went right, which was due to the hardware limitations of the Nintendo Switch.
Oh yeah,
I just wasn't enjoying it.
the Switch is awful. Hardware
Yeah,
wise, the
just-
Switch is awful.
yeah, agreed.
I couldn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to because like the frame rate was piss poor. I mean, it was like a nice 29, 30 frames per second. But with like, if you're looking at the footage right now, there's a lot of hit sparks and shit and like really cool effects that you can't get out of a Nintendo Switch consistently. And so basically when it got released on PC, I basically just doubled down, went ahead and did those first 20, 30 hours and knocked them out of the way. But the further I progressed through the game, it felt like really, really, really fun. Like at first, I wasn't feeling the game like with the new movement abilities with these things called wire bugs. Usually with traditional Monster Hunter gameplay, you just kind of like glued to the ground. You don't really, you swing your weapon or you shoot your bow and your bow gun, and you can jump off like a ledge to like smack a monster and hit it. But now they've given you like this wonderful verticality where you just hold like L2, since I'm playing on use a controller for it because it's best used on controller when you're playing it on PC because PC controllers are but
How imagine this type of game.
yeah, it's kind of weird. And I tried it for like 8 hunt and I was like never again. It was bad. And like all you do is just hold L2 or left trigger and then like press I'm sure you're like a first person shooter. You literally aim down sights where you're going to want to go and then your wire wherever you throw the wire bug, you'll go in that direction. Or you can do a horizontal straight up like pull and you can do moves off of it. You can use the wire bug to do really cool specific attacks for your weapon, and all 14 weapons have their own move sets. They all have their own special moves or switch skills that they call them for you to actually mix and match the combination of moves so that you can extend combos and have the monster on the ground like you just saw on the screen just now. It's this for me at least, it's this addicting combat loop where you go and kill the monster, but you want to get better armor or you want to get better stuff and better quality equipment to fight the next big bad. But the thing is like they add in extra layers to try to get you to not only look for like equipment, but they make the equipment for a lot of people, the RNG can kill the enjoyment out of the game. But for me, since I've been dealing with this game series for at least almost a decade now, it's rewarding when you get that one little part from a monster that you need to craft one piece of gear for to make your entire build just kind of come together at that point of time. Until then, there's like you come to a monster wall where it's smacking you around, you having a difficult time beating it. So you got to find creative ways to make a different build that caters to the monster that you're fighting, and it gets harder, and it's been getting harder. I finally beat the actual main story for the game like maybe a couple of weeks ago, because when the game originally released, that bad boy won't finish. Like it literally was not finished. Like they were missing the whole actual final boss for the
Excuse
game.
me?
Whoa, excuse.
Like it was like at launch, it was like half the final boss fight, and then they had to do an update where they added the final boss fight, where it was just basically an extension of what you played months ago at release. It was weird. It was like unfinished, and then like it was just like running on the Switch, so it wasn't a good time. Most people or if you were a Monster Hunter fan, you just felt kind of like slighted because like, man, this shit feels half-assed. But they released that update for the final boss, and that added extra stuff to it, and then Sunbreak expansion came out, which they're still releasing content for over the next couple of months or so, because I'm pretty sure they're going to keep adding more and more collabs and random stuff and even stronger monsters. But the game was not perfect at release, but it's definitely a very solid 9 out of 10 in my book. I mean, it looks good. It's got ray tracing. It runs at 140. Like I got a monitor specifically for this game in mind. Like I'm not even kidding. It's between this and between this OW and Devil May Cry 5 that I really wanted to see games running at like 120 frames per second if it allowed it. And man, it's wonderful. So Monster Hunter Rise on PC this year. That's one of them for me.
Nice. This one isn't on the list. I didn't say this one on the list, but I'd like to give this game an honorable mention.
Okay.
Because technically it isn't a 2022 game, not at all. But it
That's
ended
illegal.
it ended in 2022. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Okay, I can say
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Because Super Smash Brothers Ultimate is quite literally the end of an era. Smash Bros has been my addiction for almost my entire life.
Like an AA meeting.
Right, from Melee to Ultimate, Smash has been my game. I didn't play Smash 64 when it was first out because I just didn't have it, but I played it after the fact. But
On a scale from 1 to 10.
Smash Ultimate by all means is the most well balanced, well polished, just fan servicey, quells my competitive appetite game. Like I don't see myself ever getting tired of playing this game, honestly. As competitive
Especially
as
when you're
I
playing
am.
the
Yeah.
World of Light section.
I don't think maybe I'll play it. I still have not played the World of Light.
No,
I've seen people do Nuzlocke on this.
Jesus Christ.
Nuzlocke.
Yeah, like because you have to unlock the characters as you go along, so they played it as if like if your character dies that they're gone for good. Which is hard because the World of Light is not easy.
Like
But the amount of
I started with that, and then like, because you want to try to unlock everybody through there, but I was just like, yeah, this is not interesting or fun. So I just unlocked all the characters through like the normal means of the classic mode.
And a lot of people do like it, and maybe I'm thinking that I'm gonna give it an honest try and see how much I like it. But the game itself, like just playing it, just feels amazing. I still have plenty of friends who play this game very consistently. I've made a lot of friends through this game. I've joined a group where I play
Oh yeah, you
with
play
other people
competitively.
online. Yeah, honestly, I've joined tournaments big and small, online and offline. Like, and I see myself doing more in the future because I still see this game living on for many more years to come. Honestly, and sometimes you'll get a game where fan
You know,
games or like clones of it do it better than the original, like Sonic. And then you have like Spark the Electric Jester, which does things that modern Sonic games should do, but don't. No Smash clone that I've played, and I've played a lot. No Smash clone have I played comes close. There's some good ones out there, but none of them have the same polish, have the same passion, or have the same just overall feel. Some of them do feel good, like
I was gonna
Rivals
ask.
of Aether. Like Rivals
Rivals
of
of Aether is
Aether
good.
is a real good. That one's amazing. Like I've said, and ever since they added the sandbox, that game got a lot more replayability.
I was gonna
And that's
ask.
that's one of the top ones. That's definitely one of the top ones. What's
I
up?
was gonna ask Max, since this did come out in 2022, how do you feel about multiverses?
Haven't played it.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I haven't. I know
Huh?
it's free, so I've been missing out. I haven't that's one I haven't played, but I've heard nothing but good things about it.
It's
I matter of fact,
it's
I
strangely
might
good.
strangely good.
Yeah, because the premise it shouldn't be good with using a bunch of random WB characters. The premise shouldn't be good, but it's actually pretty decent.
Because it has polish. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Polish. Um, the Nicktoons fighting game, that game doesn't feel good. Like it
What?
doesn't Nicktoons, it doesn't feel good.
Doesn't it not have voice acting? I think that was
It,
one of
it, no, it, no, they
that's a
added
voice
Oh,
update.
they
that's
added
Update,
it.
no, an update added voice acting, but it didn't have it at launch at
Awful.
all. It didn't, and that game was just chaos. Like Smash, I know it has its own brand of chaos, but it's not that chaotic. And again, that game just doesn't feel good. I'm gonna play Multiverses at some point. Maybe I'll play it when I get back home. Uh, just to see how that feels. Because I've again heard a lot of good things about it. But Smash is like it's just different. And seeing as this is gonna be the last Smash game under Sakurai, it's like, dang. Like this is really it. This is the last Smash game I'm gonna get. Like the last official Smash game that I'm gonna get. So I'm gonna enjoy it as much as I can, and I'm gonna continue to enjoy it as much as I can.
Now that that meme of where it says Sakurai sitting down in the chair and he's like, "Don't ever ask me for anything ever again."
That was him with this
It's
game.
actually it's very valid now. Like that shit's real. Like it's a done deal. Like he's like, not right now. I'm not thinking about Smash. Leave it alone. We'll get to it
Who's
at a
playing
different
on the
time.
screen? They're trash.
I,
I was
stop.
looking at that too.
Look, I just put up a random video. Okay.
That's why it took what 21 hours for them to fucking finish.
All right. Clayton, what's your pick or your first pick?
Well, since I'm repping my Eevee sweater, I'm gonna go with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.
Brilliant thing.
Did that come out this year?
No, but it might as well have.
It might as well because I want to segue, like, because I'm gonna talk about it briefly because obviously this has been the long-awaited like revival of Pokemon, more say a remake of Pokemon. Since I played Diamond, I've played Platinum, I played all of that on the Nintendo DS when it first came out. So I wanted to talk about this game because with the updated graphics, obvious. What's going on? Come on, video. Oh, that was you, Brian.
No,
Oh, never mind.
I was, yeah, moving forward in the video.
Yeah,
He was getting
but-
mad.
I'm like, no, don't come for my game. This is my franchise. But I love everything about Pokemon. I really do. I know it didn't come out this year per se. I'm sorry about that. But in terms of where the Pokemon franchise is going, I think this is a great representation of where, hey, Nintendo's like, we're going to update our graphics. We're going to do everything that we can to make this more enjoyable and possibly even nostalgic for the people, for the OG Pokemon fans who played the original game. Now, there is some similarities that from this game that I want to compare to Pokemon Arceus.
Can I speak on that real quick?
Yeah.
Because what Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl came out 2021, but that like very end of 2021. So I feel you because I didn't play Diamond until this year. I played it at the very beginning of this year. I wasn't a fan of the chibi style for the overworld. I get it's faithful to the original games. I was really hoping to see Sinnoh like they did Hoenn in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where it's like it's fully 3D. They're embracing the new hardware. I really wanted that from Brilliant Diamond, but everything else is excellent. And Diamond is just one of my favorite Pokemon games, just all time. Like my original save data has like 400 hours in there, so I put a ridiculous amount of time in there.
I can agree. Pearl was definitely my favorite. I played the fuck out of that game.
I have two criticisms about the game. Experience All is on permanently, and I hate it. I hate
this area. I hate that area. This area of Pokemon, bro. It's baby mode all the time.
Yeah, that literally ruined part of my enjoyment of the game. Just knowing that Experience All is on at all times, and I can't do anything about it. And two, anybody who's played Gen 4 Pokemon, more specifically Diamond and Pearl, you know that there is, for whatever reason, I don't know why they designed the game like this, there's like no fire types in the game. There's like, there's only two fire types pretty much in the game. That's the Chimchar line and the Ponyta line. And that's like it. Once you get past like the main game, it opens up and you can get, all the other Pokemon. But like going through the main story, you're pretty much just stuck with Chimchar and Ponyta for their respective lines. And I was never a Chimchar fan. I was always a Torterra, Turtic, the Torterra fan. Oh yes. Torterra is a beast, man. It's slow as heck, but it is a tank. That junk is a tank.
Because remember, Bryan, he can learn Earthquake.
Yes, because he's ground and grass, and Earthquake destroys. Boy, it just cuts.
Okay, that I can agree with because I was a person that picked Piplup who eventually evolved to Empoleon. Like in hindsight, like if Empoleon's the kind of Pokemon that if you don't get shit done quick, you're going to fail. Because again, he was a water and a steel type. And so his ass was going to get rocked by electric type, was going to get rocked by ground types. It's just
Empoleon just wasn't. I never had good experience with Empoleon. Like I always would get no. I'm always a guy that picked a water starter in every Pokemon game, and Empoleon just was the worst overall for me at least.
I mean, again, you gotta like max out those stats. And going back to what Bryan said, that XP share, I hate it so much because I liked it when it was originally an item in the original Brilliant, not original Brilliant, but original Diamond and Pearl. Yeah. Like it was just an item that you held because I was on the competitive Pokemon scene at the time. Like I would go to local competitions, like one of them mainly being at my library, and then another one that was more somewhere in the Fort Lauderdale area, whatever like that. But where I would EV and IV train so I can specifically go through those stats that I wanted to raise rather than just, hey, this Pokemon's going to level up. You're going to get random IVs. You're going to get random EVs towards these stats. And for every Pokemon in your party, so you will have to specifically play with one or two Pokemon, or hell, have a whole team where you want to specifically focus on a stat. And how you like essentially IV train, you battle certain Pokemon a number of times and then you level them up, and then it gives them a certain extra status boost once they level up. So with that being said, that kind of ruins the nostalgia for me. Like ever since
It
they
also
introduced that,
breaks the game.
it breaks it so badly. Everything is on baby mode, and I think the XP share it was started back in Sword and Shield on the
No,
Nintendo
it
3DS.
was Sun and okay, so Sun and Moon had it on by default, but there was an option to turn it off. And
Oh,
like
okay, that's
like I realized like a quarter away in that game I was like, why am I so over leveled? And I was just like, oh, this experience all thing is just on by default, and I had to go in and turn it off. But starting in like Sword and Shield, it's just on permanently, and just
that,
nothing you can do about it.
so stupid, so dumb. But other than that, I like the nostalgia. Now, what I do wish, because I think we can move on to Pokemon Arceus, because Arceus, boy, I have not a lot to say. I'm gonna condense what I really want to say about Pokemon Arceus. First of all, like we get out of that chibi art style that you were talking about, Brian. Like
Good.
I found it cute, but I do love the fact that it's an open world Pokemon game and that we have been asking this for a decade from Nintendo, but we finally
Yes.
have the technology. Like we could actually pick and choose the Pokemon battles that we want to get into rather than running around in grass. And even as we can see on screen, we can see a Buizel by the water. We can see a Staravia over there just flying and stuff like that. We actually get to experience the pre-Sinnoh League, like before like Diamond and Pearl and stuff like that. Chronologically speaking, in game, not in person, but just like what's also on screen, we don't even have to go through a whole battle sequence to even attempt to capture a Pokemon. So it actually feels more like how the anime and manga actually are. It's Pokemon in the wild rather than, oh, I'm gonna run through a blade of grass. I don't know what's
Yeah.
coming at me. I can't see it. I can't do all of that. Again, XP share, blah blah blah. I hate that. But what I also do love is that we have quests and stuff outside of the storyline that we can focus on that's in a more tangible manner. Because if you guys remember, if you've like played the game Diamond and Pearl, whatever like that, there were side quests that you could do, but there was like no keeping track of what to do and what you can do to like level up or get more items or even like shiny Pokemon stuff like that.
I mean, well, the only, from my understanding, because I've never played Pokemon, I haven't played Diamond and Pearl, but I played Sun and Moon, like Ruby and Gold. But like anytime I've just treated anything that wasn't directly related to a route or the main route leading to Victory Road or whatever, that was a side quest, and none of that was like explicitly told.
Well, I mean,
You know,
the thing with the older games was that the side quests were like very minimum, and they were just like, oh, a person says to do this, and or I need this berry, and you bring it to them. It's usually like stupid like base level. It's not really like an actual quest. It's more like a checklist of things to do more so. But Arceus is straight up like, hey, here's a quest. You have to go to this area. You have to catch these amount of Pokemon. You have to trigger this. You need like it's an actual like a traditional RPG mission that you actually do, and that's a huge difference.
Yes. Um, how is it in ancient times, but the main character still got that ugly ass hat on, Brian? Like it's. I'm sorry, I don't like that hat.
I was never a fan of it. It was like a Kango. I was never a fan of it.
I don't think anybody liked that shit.
Oh God! Not you roasting his fashion
But I
sense.
like how it's also influenced the future of Pokemon games as well.
Oh,
Like, look at the newest installation. Look at Scarlet and Violet. They came out too.
Which okay, so I haven't
I could-
purchased that, but
Neither have I.
it's amazing how from what I've heard from what other fans have said, Scarlet and Violet is the perfect Pokemon game in the sense that it is a true open world. There's a lot of the old timey things that shouldn't exist in the games are gone. They've changed the way transportation works, how you travel, how battles work, how catching works. There's so many good things in that game that I've heard, but the performance is ridiculously
Because
bad.
it's on the Nintendo Switch, everybody.
I don't
Sing
even.
with me.
I don't even. I
Even
don't.
that.
No, I don't even think it's that. It's
Game Freak. They didn't optimize that game. It's not the Switch at all.
like
Yeah.
it should have been no reason why within the span of 12 months there was 3 mainline Pokemon games coming out. Like that's absolutely ridiculous. There should not have been 3. Again, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl should have came out like they did November 2021. They should have put Arceus in November of this year, because even though this game has been highly rated, it could have still used more polish and time. And Violet and Scarlet and Violet should have been 2023 November.
Yeah,
that game needs a whole nother year, because it is ridiculous how bad that runs, and I've never seen a Nintendo first party Nintendo game run that bad.
Oh yeah, like they need a graphics update. They need to pay more attention to gameplay, and oh my god, the amount of glitches, bro.
It's
Like,
But the glitches were hilarious.
it's
Oh my
hilarious, but it's
God.
just like
They're always a,
you
but
expect
it's sad
that
at
from
the
like
same time.
you expect that from like a Ubisoft, an EA, but you don't expect that from Nintendo.
Exactly.
No.
because they were putting all their efforts into this new Zelda game, like that's coming out next year. They're putting all their efforts into that.
Well, I mean,
I don't know
that
why.
that shouldn't have anything to do with it. Game Freak is completely different from Game Freak is
Yeah.
essentially a separate company from Nintendo
Right.
proper.
True, but probably Nintendo's like, yo, how about this? Let's pump out more Pokemon games. But let's get the movement game. But yeah, I feel like Pokemon has been rather disrespected with Scarlet and Violet. like, like the amount of glitches in this game, inexcusable. Even though I didn't play it like myself with my own 2 hands, but had a friend play it in front of me, and I'm like, this shit booty. like you have Pokemon that are not even included in a battle walking through the middle of them.
Oh, yikes.
So,
Yikes.
Okay.
that thumbnail,
walking
bro. That
With them.
thumbnail.
Oh yeah,
See, look at
this
this.
one.
Like you're battling, and there's this random NPC just walking through the map.
Oh my god.
Naughty.
What is going on?
she's going for it, boy.
Katrina.
It's the new TikTok dance, boy.
Oh no! Like
Yes, do the dislocate. Yes, do the dislocate.
do the dislocate. Like, what are we
Look
about?
at your
to do?
beloved game of the year.
Man, people were mad when the cat starter got on 2 feet, became bipedal.
Yeah.
People were mad.
Like Game Freak has this weird fetishization with anthropomorphic, like cat characters. I don't know why. The fuck is
Can't keep the cat on 4 feet.
what is this?
See ya.
Ooh.
And the sad part about all this is that Scarlet and Violet is like the quickest selling Pokemon game in years.
Oh god.
They sold this. Y'all might as well get your money back and go and get Brilliant Diamond and Shinning.
Oh.
Okay, so for the people who are just listening to we're watching a video with all the glitches from Scarlet and Violet, and if you are not familiar with the game, you ride, like you travel with the legendary Pokemon of like their respective games, but you can't
kinda
use
wild.
them. Like you can't use them until like in game, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But you only use them for transportation. So there's some transportation glitches that occur. Like we're currently seeing one. Like, are they past the boundaries?
Yes,
They're
Adam.
Oh,
Oh,
They-
yeah. And there
are
we go.
on the map in the game. Now it's invisible. It's riding around.
Oh. Aren't
The
you glad this is
Bumblebee.
your game of the year, Clayton?
Oh no.
All right.
Pokemon falling off of cliffs and shit.
All right, enough of
Okay.
that.
Well, we could sit here and watch this shit for hours.
Hours, right? Yes.
Oh my god.
All right.
But
Good. Yeah. Go ahead. Finish Cliff Clay.
to like, I'm just gonna pretend Scarlet and Violet never existed, and that only Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Arceus came out, even though they came out late. Well, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl late 2021, Arceus early 2022. I'm gonna pretend those are the Pokemon games that came out. Oh, that's my closing. I can't do it. That's it.
That's his last words on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
The diamond, the shedding petal. But oh, I don't know about you guys, but I would love to talk about Overwatch. I think we could all talk about that.
No, only 3 of us can talk about.
Oh,
I can talk about it a little bit. I have played the game. I have played the game.
he has.
I have played Overwatch 2, and I'm going to talk about my experiences real quick because it's not that much.
You go.
But I'm a damage main, right? So I like try to exclusively play damage. And I will say the 5v5 format makes it you have to work a lot harder as a damage. I think everyone has to work harder, but as damage, you got to work a lot harder because people are, because people are not people, especially the tank. It's a solid team that knows what they're doing are going to keep their people alive. And going from the 6v6 of Overwatch 1, where people, it's moving a lot faster. It's a lot more chaotic. People are dying left and right. It's not like that anymore. It still can get a little chaotic, but you have to play your role a lot better. You have to play your role a lot more solid in order to get things done. If you try to be that hero that tries to go off to the side and pick somebody off, it's not going to work as well as it used to. That was my experience. And for my first couple rounds, I was trying to play like how I used to play in Overwatch 1, and I was getting demolished. And I was wondering what the fuck was going on. I was like, okay, let me actually play. Let me stick with my team, and let me not try to be this clip hero, trying to always just get clips and be merry. No, let me actually play the game how it's supposed to be played. And after that, I started finding more success. I started maining Sojourn. Still getting used to that. Blizzard still has not gotten back to me on the 4 appeals that I've submitted to get my authentication shit back. They have not responded. Okay, because they have this whole authenticator process, right? And so I don't have my code. So I was like, let me in my account without the goddamn code. And they have to approve it. I've submitted that 4 times and still haven't heard shit back.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, I'm not finna go through it. And you know how I felt when that happened to me on Paladins. My shit got banned for no reason. I was like, I'm just not finna play the game no more. I'm just fought out finna play the game no more.
Like, this game does not exist.
I'm not gonna play the game no more.
Mm-hmm.
So unless that gets happen, I'm not gonna be on Overwatch 2 like that. But I have a lot for the small amount I have played. I had a lot of fun, and I really want to get back into it.
I have quite a bit to say. I'll keep it brief. So, as Max said, he's his damage main. I mainly play support because I love it. I'm just a washed up diamond player from Overwatch 1.
Washed.
Yeah, because the support role, it does I do give Blizzard some credit for adjusting the support role. We get to we get self-heal when we're not in battle and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, great, cool. But it feels like I have to go above and beyond. Damn, this Hanzo guy is ass. But I have to go above. I have to go above and beyond just so I can support my team. I'm going to keep saying support because I'm not a healer. I'm a support player. So I can still get kills. I can still help mitigate damage and stuff like that. However, it feels like I'm almost heal botting a lot of my games because even though we had the launch, at launch, we had Kiriko, the new support character, and she's more of like off heals, like a true support character. I feel like I'm not even successful. Like I'm not even successful as a support player because there's some DPS characters that need to be nerfed, i.e. Sojourn. Sorry, Max. She's broken as hell, and so is her ultimate.
Not that bad.
If you can aim, if you gotta aim though, that shit is earned, not given.
Yeah, I don't find her broken.
I think DeYante's about to chime in.
Okay, just leave it alone. She's broken.
She's not.
She is so broken. She just needs at least a nerf to her ultimate because the fact that because just as her passive, she charges percentage. Like whenever you hit shots, you can go to 100% and have a charge shot or at whatever percentage that you choose to fire it at. But her ultimate, she charges to 100% on that charge shot in less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, but you still got to get like straight headshots on that.
Like you don't even have to get straight headshots on that.
You don't.
You don't even have to get straight headshots on that.
You said no, you don't.
But coming from a support perspective, there's a lot of work that needs to be put into the support role. Damage is fine. Maybe a tank or two needs a buff. Nothing too concerning.
Speaking of tank,
tank.
I
gotta
love
work.
the new Orisa. I used to play Orisa every once in a while. I fucking love the new Orisa. I think she's infinitely more usable now. That the use of the spear, she plays way more aggressive. That's the one thing. But that spear boy, oh my god, I love that. If it's somebody squishy and you time that spear, they're dead. That's just a straight up KO. So those 200 health people, if they've already got a little bit of damage and you hit that spear right on, they're done. But
if it pins against the wall, that does extra damage too.
Oh, I didn't know that. But also her spinning spear thing, that's my favorite ability from her because it has pushback. And so like the thing I love doing with her, like because you could play more aggressively, I love using the spinning javelin to literally physically push a enemy into a corner. And like that's great for like getting them off point. It's great for getting them away from their team so that the rest of your team can like just dogpile on this character. Is great for creating distance. I love the new Orisa. She's like she's became my main when it comes to tank now. And I was always a person who I do flex Q, so any role it is, I'm fine playing. But I think she's way more usable now as a tank than she was ever before.
Hot take, I think Orisa needs a nerf with a couple of just a couple of her cooldowns, just like 2 seconds, bro.
No, she's perfect as is. It's like every time there's a character I like in Overwatch, they get nerfed. I love Brig. She got nerfed. Now I don't like her. I love
we
May.
can agree with Brig.
I love May. She got nerfed, and now I don't like her. It's just like, let me have this, please.
No.
I gotta say though,
a character that can fully freeze you in an FPS.
Yes.
Bryan.
No, hell no, bro. No, that shit was the worst.
But she has baby health. She has like 200 health. Come on now.
Bro, she had 250. She had 250 in Overwatch 1.
250 health, and she got a self-heal.
Exactly.
Her self-heal basically was nothing.
She's immune to CC during the self-heal.
When she does the self-heal, everybody's just like, okay, the May is healing, and then everybody dogpiles her. So it's almost pointless.
No, it isn't pointless because if you're in chaos and you're trying to get rid of the May,
that bitch don't die.
Yeah, and you're and you're just moving too fast. You can't worry about the May no more because she's in an ice cube, fucking healing. you got to feel of someone else, and then suddenly
But
you're
as
frozen,
but as
and
a
suddenly
but
you're
as
dead.
a main damage, she's not good as main damage. She's really not.
But
Her
she is,
her
bro. She has so much other versatility, bro.
yeah, her main purpose
Cra-
is
area
to
area denial,
yes.
verticality, crowd control,
Again, that's why I liked her.
control.
Her main
No,
purpose isn't damage, and that's why she's fun. She was fun to play. Now you can't even freeze people fully anymore, so it's just like, oh, okay.
Well, you can. It's just the ultimate. But I mean, I'm
but
okay with that.
But again, it's just thinking whenever we're playing non-damage, what is the main thing we're complaining about? Why is damage not killing people? What is going on? What is damage doing? That is our main complaint always. And May is one of those people who's just like, she's not going to do a whole lot of damage. She's not, and because she doesn't do a whole lot of damage, at least she could freeze people. But she doesn't even do that anymore.
It's called get good. It's a skill issue.
He said that, not me. I don't even know why he's whispering.
Here's my spiel. I'm pretty sure I have like less hours than Clayton, for at least this year so far.
Probably.
I used to be the Overwatch addict, but then that kind of went to him, so I passed my addiction on to him. And from my experiences, damage is fun. It's a lot harder because you have to do more. You have to be very attentive to situations. Like you cannot play certain heroes the same way you used to play them in one. You will just get your shit thrashed in because
Yes.
you can't take this certain amount of space anymore because the game's a lot more open with one less tank. The flankers can flank long range distance DPS players that are like really on fire. They can control a game now. Hanzo and a Widow can literally destroy a match more so than it used to. So I do like the openness of how damage feels. I mean, none of the damage characters feel extremely oppressive. It's just that when there's a person on the other team that really knows how to play like a character like Sojourn. My goodness.
Who's
Somebody-
busting shots?
Yeah, that was like right on time. Okay.
Where you live at?
That's
You
really-
live in boy,
Scooty,
you
trial.
They didn't like what I said about damage characters, so they had to show their own. Like,
No, they became their own damage character.
Are you kidding?
They gotta get ready for the next season.
Boy, Scooty over there living in the trenches, boy.
I'm not. No, you escape over here. That was the first. That is usually. That is definitely.
They said
I'm
double.
pretty
kill.
sure y'all about to hear like police sirens and stuff in like maybe 5 to 10 minutes from now.
They that fast? Shit.
Depends. Anyway, damage feels a lot more open. It's just like some of the characters where it feels like if you play them fairly well and you try to mirror, well, if somebody's trying to mirror you and you're better than them, you will just dominate the lobby, and then that'll probably be the game, especially in like quick play. Supports feel kind of wonky at times because sometimes it feels like you're doing a lot and you're doing a lot and you're doing a lot and it's just not enough. And then like you try to heal your DPS and they just get ran over by a Sojourn who body shots you after you just got tickled by like 5 damage and the fully charged railgun does about 2 fucking much. And and you know that's cool and all, but she can out widow a widow. And so that's why they had just recently nerfed her slightly, but they didn't adjust her damage. They just changed the tempo at which she gets her railgun and changed her spread a little bit so that way the gap between shots is a little bit more difficult because she is she's a projectile from like far range, but like really up close she's kind of hit scan. just because the bullets come out faster when they are close. But like certain supports just feel very, very out of place in the game currently, unless like your team just doesn't know how to fucking deal with them. Like a Brig that just seems to live all the time is in one of those categories where she's actually kind of bad because she doesn't do the things that she doesn't do what Kiriko does as far as sustaining and like immediately keeping you up. Like she is literally a teleporting pocket, which is cool and all, but at the same time, when I'm shooting at something, I would like for the thing that I'm pressing the button to get rid of the thing that is on my screen to go away. And she is literally that. It's like Bap is with Lamp, and I'm tired of these Captain Save-A-Ho abilities. They are getting on my nerves. At least save the hoe over a period of time, or at least let it really truly feel like after that character uses that ability, they are very, very vulnerable and punished afterwards. She can cycle her abilities very well, where if she uses Suzu, she can get the fuck out. And then Suzu's like on a relatively long cooldown, but she's like super far away from you. She gonna get it back in the next 20 seconds or whatever the cooldown is because she can teleport halfway across the map.
Yeah,
so
that is kind of broken.
She's dummy good. She can double headshot a Tracer. Ana can double body shot a Tracer now after the previous patch, so I'm loving that shit.
And when they upped Ana's damage?
Yeah, it's 75.
Oh, nice.
70. So support's a little, I mean, and from the amount of support that I play, and just from the amount of the game that I play now, because sometimes it's just mentally draining.
Yes.
It definitely doesn't feel as visually overwhelming because of one less tank, but at the same time, you still have to be very, very attentive to what's going on. Tank, I have very, very barely played, and I used to play quite a bit of tank, but it's just that I don't know what it is, but I'm not feeling the way tank feels as a solo tank. Yep, there they are. I don't like the way a tank feels by itself. I'm just not accustomed to it yet. I mean, maybe I just need to like sit down and like bear through sitting through grinding through some of the tanks like playing as Ryan, seeing how that feels. I mean, because apparently he's still playable, and Junker Queen, I could have terrible aim with her, and Ramantra's actually pretty cool, and he's not a problem.
I barely touch Junker Queen.
And I mean that. Like, he's actually, you can play against him. He's very balanced. And that's the thing about the game. The game is somewhat balanced. There are certain things that just still, if Blizzard would just like literally stop sugarcoating their balance philosophy and pick if they want to balance the game from the professional level on down or balance for casual play, they need to figure it out, because it's really confusing and it's making my head hurt, and it makes me not want to play the game because I don't know which direction the game is going to go, because they want to keep pulling a let's see how this works this week.
It's because it's hard to think of. It's hard to balance for that, because something it's really hard to balance for that casual and competitive, because the meta is completely different for both.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that's the Overwatch has politics to it, because there's the casual fan base and competitive fan base, but that's every fan base for any.
That's every game.
Multiplayer game. But it's like, game balance would be better if they would just cater to how casuals play, because that is the majority of your player base. So if you just make the game fun, I mean, even if at least each character had something unbelievably broken, every character has at least one unique, unbelievably broken thing, and it wouldn't make it terribly unbalanced, because it's not like you can pick the same character twice.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have to do that, because like, I'm not sure if you you guys were aware, there was a pre-Overwatch 2 launch, there was a summit like specifically for Overwatch 2, and like they brought in like big creators like Fitzy here, Flats, Wanted, J3, these big Overwatch streamers, they brought them all together, had a summit, like had them play Kiriko, like pre-launch and stuff like that, and they actually got their input for basically like everything Overwatch, how did it play, how did it feel, which characters needed like nerfing or whatever, whatever like that. So they brought in top streamers who play at the highest level, like most of them according to the new rank system. They're like top 500, GM one and stuff like that. I would love to see more input from the casual player base. Like we get to decide how the game feels rather than just listen to the top 0.01% of
Bro,
the player base.
this Roadhog sucks, bro. This Roadhog sucks.
That's also another thing with the game that's a problem, like too. Like if your team, like with the matchmaking, since it's so fucking terrible, that's another reason why I don't play the game as much, because the matchmake, it's extremely, it feels even more steamroll heavier than before.
Oh yeah, for without a doubt, without a doubt.
It feels extremely
Like
steamroll.
if when one team is better than the other, boy, it is clear.
It is very clear that there are more people. It is a very one-sided match, especially when you can tell that your team's not throwing. The other team is just better. Like the MMR is not it.
Yeah.
And so Blizzard's been saying, yeah, we're gonna look at it, and we heard shit.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the gameplay. Yeah, just looking at the gameplay that's on the screen. This guy's DPS didn't get a single kill, and their other DPS are like steamrolling them. I'm like, is this matchmaking? Like, honestly, it's probably matchmaking. Probably have to be in game, but
either way, the game is fun when Blizzard allows it to be. But it does have its like caveats that would take an entire separate podcast for. But
yeah,
as of right now, as it stands, it's a solid like 8 out of 10 for right now. Maybe
game of the year, baby.
5, just because it's like just certain like nitpicky things. Like the game should feel further along than what it does for what it has done so far.
And for how long it's been in development.
And for how long it's been in development. And yeah, I get it. Blizzard, acquisitions, COVID, blah, 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 blah. If that's also the case, y'all could have still delayed the game and at least fixed some shit and really be decisive on what's going on, what you're going to do in the game. But it doesn't seem to be the case. And so we're rolling with the punches. And so are they, because people ain't happy with the game, financially and physically actually playing it. So we shall see.
Heavy on that financial.
All right, so moving on from Overwatch, because we also did a whole podcast on Overwatch too.
Yeah, that's the updated whining portion about.
I'm gonna go to my next pick, which is Sonic Frontiers. Good God, that ambulance is loud.
Bro, we see the evolution of that, bro. We've seen from the firefight to the cops to the ambulance.
Everybody's here. Fucking smash. Everyone is here.
So I've been wanting to talk about Sonic Frontiers for a while. I actually wrote an article that I'll post on the website soonish. Right around the same time this is published. But Sonic Frontiers is a huge breath of fresh air for the Sonic franchise. I haven't been this like into a Sonic game realistically since Sonic Generations. And well, Sonic Mania too. But 3D Sonic wise, I haven't been this hooked onto a Sonic game since Generations. And part of what I said in my article is that the problem with 3D Sonic is that with the boost style like gameplay, it is a rush, boy. Like when you learn the level and you learn the ins and outs, all the secret portions, and it is a rush. It is so fun to play.
Agreed.
But those experiences are like 3 minutes. Like a level is short, man. And for Sonic Team as developers, when you're trying to make a level like that, it will literally take months and months to make a 3 minute level. And the problem with that is, content wise, you cannot produce a lot of levels, you cannot produce a lot of content with that. And so the problem ends up is either you get these really short experiences like Sonic Generations, Sonic Colors, where you're beating the game in like less than 10 hours, or you have situations on the extreme end like Forces, where it's bad quality levels, short levels, and the actual story itself is not just good. And so the levels themselves, the actual like levels that we would think of from Sonic Generations or the daytime levels in Unleashed, they're in this game. They're short. You'll complete them in like a minute and a half or even shorter. But that's not the main focus of the game. The main focus of the game is kind of the stuff you're seeing on screen right now. These like really big experiences where you're going against these ginormous creatures. You're exploring the islands, and I think the coolest thing about Sonic Frontiers is that it is just a big sandbox, and there's just places for you to explore, and you will just get lost going into level, just finding different things, interacting with the several different characters in there, all of the items, all the bosses and enemies, and yeah, it's clearly it's gotten its influence from Breath of the Wild, because like right. DeYante and Clayton, you heard me sometimes when I'm playing the game and I'm just like, oh shit, and like something ginormous comes at me and I'm just like running away from it, or like something unexpected pops up and you just have to handle it like then and there. So
those are called Titans, right?
Yeah.
They're giving me mad Angels vibes from Evangelion.
Oh, because design wise?
Yeah, they look like the enemies from Evangelion.
And like with the Titans, so like this is like from the first island, and this is when Sonic first meets the Titan. And so you're just like, yo, there's no way I can beat that. And you're right. There's no way you can beat that. So the gameplay loop is you explore the island, you do like these little challenges like this, you unlock pieces of the map, you get the Chaos Emeralds, you do levels, you fight like these little sub bosses, and then once you've collected all the Chaos Emeralds, you will fight the Titan. You become Super Sonic and you fight the Titan, and like that is one of the most satisfying like parts of the game, because they're high energy. Just imagine Sonic Adventure 2 battles ending, or Sonic Adventures ending. Imagine you doing that like 4 or 5 times in the game. Like that level of intensity, that level of like power that you have as Sonic, and it's such a great gameplay loop. I love it. The game needs to be better optimized, and I think that's part of it is being held back by being on PS4, Xbox One, and a Switch. Because there's like the pop in this game is awful. Like the draw distance is terrible. The pop in is awful. And you could kind of see it a little bit in the gameplay where stuff seemingly just pops up right in front of you, rather than you see it in the distance and you're able just to do that. So things like that, it's aggravating. The combat system is actually surprisingly really good. It's not amazing. It's not like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry or anything, but it's surprisingly competent. There's a lot you can do with Sonic combat wise, which sounds weird for a Sonic game.
Right.
But the gameplay you see right now on the screen, there's just things to do. So you just see like, oh, there's a railing over there. Let me go over here and see where it leads me. Or, oh, where are these rings going to? What is this platform right here? Like it's just things to do.
Oh,
And okay,
whoa.
that was a weird transition. It shouldn't transition like that.
What was that? Did it just turn from night to day 8 like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
My
I don't know why
goodness.
that was a glitch, because normally it's a soft transition between night and day. I don't know why that transitioned so
That was
abruptly.
instantaneous.
That was weird. But yeah, man, it's so much to like about this game. I think it's a good format for Sega going forward, or Sonic Team going forward, for them to say like, all right, Sonic Frontiers 2, we're going to have
Go bigger.
more power on the hood, make things a little, clean up certain things, make things a little bit more tighter in terms of controls, tighter in terms of, you know, enemy placement, placement of these things, all those things. I would say one disappointment is the music, only because it's
Different.
not it's different. Yeah, it's different. So when you're mostly going to the area, there's some, like when you go into the islands, the first island is a very like kind of Breath of the Wildy type thing. You know, it's very like mellow, kind of piano, soft piano stuff. Not a lot going on. As you get more Chaos Emeralds, the music expands more, and so like there's more to the music the more you go through, progress through the island, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
But
that's
like
cool.
it's usually when we think about Sonic music, we're like, it's stuff that's like super groovy, super funky,
Yeah,
or
it's a bop.
right, it's something that you're rocking out to, and you don't really get that in the soundtrack. Like the boss fights, you kind of get that butt rock feel. You know, the second Titan fight is just straight up a heavy metal song, which caught me off guard, but it was really good. But even when you're doing like the stages, they're not like traditional Sonic music. They're like all dubstep, which is really weird for Sonic. And I don't really like it like that. I don't. But
Uh-oh, bugs. Uh-oh, uh-oh.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like some little weird stuff like that happens in a game. But I will also say, story wise, it's not like Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic '06 where you have like a lot of things just happening story wise. Also, this guy's just not kind of playing it smart. I will say that. All right, come on, dude, it's not that hard. Anyway, when it comes to story, it's a lot about character dialogue, which I find really cool. So like each island, there's basically a Sonic character that you're trying to like rescue from the cyberspace. The first island is Amy, and the second island is Knuckles. Third island is Tails. And what's cool about these character dialogues is like with Knuckles, there's parts of the ancients that's like the kind of like species that's on here. You'll get to the parts where you're seeing like ancient ruins, and Knuckles will, when you're having that story interaction with Knuckles, he'll like, hey, you start talking about like how he's the last echidna, and you know how the tribes on Angel Island stood for X, Y, and Z, and you know how he feels a spiritual connection to them. So it's like really cool character moments like that you get within there. And
Nice.
the main villain itself, she's like kind of mysterious, and it's like there's a cutscene at the very beginning of the game that explains what she is, kind of. But Sonic doesn't know that, and so Sonic is trying to approach the villain as a person that he can help. So, you know, person that, you know, hey, you help me, I help you. You know, there's good in you, type of thing. And that villain is more like, no, I know you're the enemy. I don't believe you, and blah blah. It's a lot of cool characteristic things I really like that they've done in this game, and that's partly because the writer of this game, he's one of the writers on the newer Sonic comics, which again I was like, all right, very smart. And I've read some of the newer Sonic comics post Archie, and again they're really good. So there's a lot more other things about this game. There's a whole skills tree system. There's a lot of things that Sonic can learn. Sonic has stats now, so combat stats, speed stats. Rings basically are his like health meter, so you can increase that. You can increase his defense. Some enemies, like you see right now, you can't just bum rush. You have to actually try to do some type of strategy to it. You got to know the enemy's patterns. It's just a lot to the game. I really enjoy it. So far,
It's not just go fast
yeah, it's not just go
anymore.
fast. It's not just platforming. It's so much more to it. And I have 13 hours in the game, and I'm only on the third island out of five. So there's still a lot of gameplay for me to play through. And again, Sonic Frontiers was another game where I was like, all right, here's my $70. Let's go. And I've been very satisfied with what I've played with the game.
Nice. I definitely gonna have to give this one a go. I need to pick up some of these newer games. Um, I think we've been biding time long enough. Let's go to that game of the year for me.
All right. Yep.
Go ahead, go to the game of the year. Yeah, there
That's
we
all
go.
you.
Yeah. Now
This
we talking about a video game.
this is Max and
Yeah.
DeYante.
Not,
Okay. So
not
let's go.
spearhead
Let's
this.
rewind it back. Let's rewind it back because we gotta go to the top of the story for this one. Go back to the game of years. What was it? Game of years 2020? Was it 2021 or 2020?
I can't remember.
I don't
It
know.
would. But yeah, Elden Ring was the most anticipated game. It got that award even though we knew nothing about this fucking game. We got a trailer the year before, a story trailer the year before that had nothing to do with gameplay. It very briefly had something to do with the story. It was just like, hey, this game's coming from George R. R. Martin and From Software. You're gonna love this one. And then we heard nothing for a long time, to where the entirety of the Dark Souls From Software fan base was just like, bro, please just give us something.
You
All
thought
you
it was
have
the
to do is, bruh, yes, all you have to do was say the goddamn title and that give us a little hard on. But bruh, to a point where there was a YouTube channel dedicated to just updates on if we heard shit about Elden Ring on a day by day basis.
Literally anything.
Yeah, and it was the waiting part. After like getting the game, playing it, the game being game of the year, and deserving it. That little stage which we were waiting for the game, it was enjoyable. It brought us together. And the memes were hilarious. So the
Those
memes
of
were
us who were
hilarious.
waiting.
But you're right, the memes were hilarious. But getting into the game, it's a lot of people were expecting the gameplay to be something different from your traditional Souls game. Like, and I was too. But the fact that it isn't, the fact that it really just feels like big Dark Souls. Except for you can jump now. Big Dark Souls, except for you can jump and sneak.
Wait, you couldn't
And
jump in Dark
there's-
Souls games?
Literally,
No, you
that's
can-
all
you
it
can-
is.
Oh wow.
Bruh, you cannot jump, but honestly, it works way too well. Like the Dark Souls format was already like, it didn't need to be changed. One of those things, if it's not broken, don't fix it, and that's very much the case. The gameplay is rock solid. It's fun. It's hard. It's fun. And they just expanded upon that. They made this huge open world. They made the bonfire system work within this open world, which I enjoy very much. And it's jammed packed with content. Like, there's not one section of map in this entire huge map. There's not one section of map that doesn't have something in it. And honestly, that is how you make an open world game. I should want to explore every nook and cranny of the map, every corner, every cliff, everything. And Elden Ring consistently makes me want to do that. It has so much.
walls that you have to hit like 50 times. Not
Right,
joke. There's literally a wall in the game. You have to hit 50 times in order for that bitch to break.
right. But I love stuff like that. I love having to finding stuff like that. And Dark Souls has always been a master of making you search for things. It still has the a masterwork of storytelling, a master class of storytelling like it has in the other games. where everything isn't directly told to you. So there's a lot of things that the fans have to figure out, and even some things that are open ended to where you get to kind of create your own ending to it. There's a ton of side quests, even though you're probably gonna miss most of them first playthrough. You're probably gonna still miss a lot of them your second playthrough, and in order to play all of the content in the game, you have to play it more than once. You just have to, and it's a lot of fucking game. There's multiple endings. Like it's more than just like 2 or 3. It's multiple endings. Some of which you have to go out of your way and do certain different things in the game to unlock.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I mean, if this was like the days of the old days of strategy guides and no internet, there's a lot of things in this game that would not be found just right off the bat for the first year or two of the game being out. There's straight up things just would not be found. The fact that we have the internet makes things a lot quicker to be discovered. But, even still, there's so much to this fucking game. There's parts above, there's different sections to the map. It's not just the big map you see right in front of you. There's also parts that are several underground sections, a couple of above ground sections. Like, this game is huge. And there's so many things you can do. You can get very creative with the builds that you make. You can get very creative with your character. You can customize your character to however you want, play however you want, and just have fun. If you want to use the best of the best weapons to clear through all the bosses, you can do that. If you want to build where you're literally just a naked guy that's throwing a whole bunch of random shit, you can do that. Like,
do it in spades.
This game is so versatile. It's fun and it's difficult. That's my thing. It's definitely a love letter to the Souls fans as well, because if you played all of the Souls games like me, and you've seen the evolution of how like they do the bosses, like Dark Souls 1, everything, like you're not the boss tracking is not going to be like that. They're going to hit, you're going to move out of the way, and then boom. But you play like Elden Ring, you get to Elden Ring, now you have bosses are delaying their attacks for like an extra 2 seconds. You go to the other side of them, they turn around and hit your ass. The tracking, like. It's hard, not just for new players, but it's hard for veterans as well. I felt like when I was going through Stormvale Castle, I felt like I was a Souls game noob again, bruh. That I was mad. I was mad at the fucking game. And I was stuck. I was stuck on Godric for longer than I care to admit. But even so, I still kept coming back, and I still very much enjoyed the game. And I'm going to continue to enjoy this game. I'm going to finish up with this character that I have right now. I'm going to make another one, because I have another build in mind that I wanted to just have fun with. And I just want to enjoy this game. It feels good to ride around the open world. It feels good to discover secrets. It feels good to just play this fucking game. I've been waiting for it for so long, and it's better than I anticipated, and that makes me happy, because this was legit the only game I cared about for a while, and I'm gonna yes, this game is
there we go.
This game very much deserves Game of the Year.
Oh.
Well, DeYante,
That game's alright. It's alright. I mean, pretty much everything that everybody says about the goddamn game is pretty much correct. It's literally just Dark Souls open world where you can jump and squat.
Yeah,
And that's and a hell of a lot more. The horse and horse.
You have a goddamn horse. Yes.
Like, I think that the things that are most enjoyable for me in my experience in playing the game is the map discovery, just seeing different fucked up areas, different cool looking areas. The traveling is like the best part of the game. Like, finding the new shit is like so fun. Using the horse is a godsend.
Oh,
Fast
yeah.
travel.
Oh, yeah. Bro, what?
Oh my god, the fast travel is
Yes.
just so
Yes.
thank you,
Yes.
Jesus. It eliminates so much less stress of just wanting to get somewhere and go to where you want to go, so that way you can get on with your life. Because the previous games just have a lot of backtracking, which is inherently involved in the game, which is okay, that's their thing, but it's just not something that you want to constantly deal with all the time. And Dark Souls is such a, well, Elden Ring more specifically is such a um player friendly game because it gives you there's a lot of player advocacy. Like it gives you time to actually, figure shit out. How does this weapon work? How do these Ashes of Wars work? Can it work with this build? Can I put this on this weapon? Can I, you know, you have there's so much player choice, and if you
Yes.
fuck up, you can literally go talk to the cute turtle. Just go talk to the turtle man. He'll reset all your stuff, and
You'd
you
be
can
like,
start
it's straight. You're like,
over.
it's straight, bro. I got you.
You just start over. It's awesome. So, like, the game literally is an open book and a class, like, just a master class in how to let your players solve their own problems with difficulty. Because yes, the game is hard, but
It's
you
fun.
can literally snap a boss in half with the correct build. Like, it's not even funny. Like there are certain story bosses or certain bosses that you would see in promotional material that I came across in the game, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing him. He's probably hard as hell, being like the first or second go, and it's like what? So because you look it up and you're like, oh, my weapon had lightning on it, so it was the boss was weak to lightning, so I beat his ass. Um, dealing with that kind of just openness to be able to play the game is just awesome. Like you literally just sit there and get lost for hours, just running around, like genuinely just running around to find stuff. And I think that's the key. The Elden Ring is the most video game this year. Like yes, the lore and stuff is there. Not quite very. I'm not 100% sold on the lore on this game in particular. It's cool and all, but it doesn't hook me and grab me like Bloodborne and like Dark Souls 1 and 3. But yeah, the story is there for those who care. I mean, and yeah, you got to do some digging if you really want to understand some stuff. But like the experience of just playing the game is what makes it such an enjoyable experience. Like not just the
Yes.
difficulty, but seeing the sights, going from point A to point B, seeing how the world itself will and can change over the course of you playing and dying hundreds upon hundreds of times. So it's a game of a year and a game of a decade in a century for sure. Like it's not an overstatement. It's not like people are just believing hype or just like staying on this game's dick. Like it deserves any accolade or praise that it can actually get because it earns it.
Yes.
And From Software and Miyazaki has worked so diligently over the course of these development years on Elden Ring to show that they understand what they're doing. They have a firm grasp of the Soulsborne genre that they have defined now, and this
Oh yeah,
is
they
awesome. Awesome,
yeah.
awesome, awesome.
From Software literally has defined a genre of game. They created a new genre of game.
The only other game that comes that fucking close to this is Neo 2, and I've only played like 2 hours of Neo 2, and that shit is fun. It's hard, but it's not my game of the year, and it came out last year. But still, the two are two different types of games, but they're still Soulsborne games because of the inherent.
And the fact that I could go I could go on and on about this game, about the things I love, the things I think give me improvement. I could go. That's a whole podcast in itself. That's a whole episode in itself.
But game good.
Yes,
Game
game
good.
very good. Game very good. Game very
Me like
good.
game.
Yes.
Clayton, what is your next thing you want to speak on?
Dre.
The
Oh yeah,
cat
you're the
game.
only one that's played that.
The kitty cat.
Yeah, you actually only want to play that. We have not played that.
Well, I didn't play it on my PlayStation, but I played it on the friends. But this game is so freaking cool, adorable, and like, just look at this. It's a fucking cat.
Now, that was definitely
right.
the selling point of the game.
You're
That's
right.
facts.
And,
It's a cat.
like
It is
that's
a cat.
literally what they were like. Look at this. This is a cat. This is a cat.
You see this adorable creature, but I really love that this game has so much replayability, so much. Like within the first playthrough, yeah, you get through puzzles, you get the main story and all that stuff, but then there's a deeper I'm a big story person.
Is there
I love
cat lore?
Right.
cat lore, Lord Jesus, but God damn it! You got me. You made me lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
But okay, I'm
about
back.
that
I'm back. But I'm a huge literature person. I love reading. I love doing all this stuff, and this just felt like a visually pleasing novel. Like how we're introduced to the main story. How
Well, you need to play inside then.
and so I've heard of that. I heard of that. I need to really play it. How we're introduced. The kitty's falling.
Good.
Adorable.
Good.
They're just
You
gonna
looking
look at
him
him.
like, all right, God.
Simba. Oh, help me. That was very much a Lion King.
Oh my God.
That was violent.
Yeah, the world building is so amazing. The graphics, top tier. Storytelling, and like I like how the story just leaves it open ended, where you can actually like create your own conclusion as to what happens after the game. It felt so good to play. Like controls are rather easy, puzzles are not too hard. So I feel like this is a game that's honestly
His leg is damaged. He broke his
Is
little
there
leg.
meow? Okay, question. Is there meow button?
yes, there's a meow button.
Hey.
It is so freaking adorable. I forgot which button it was.
God. He only,
Just
made,
like there's a
he only made it a few steps and he collapsed.
Right?
it's
And-
like
and
an
that's-
entitled Goose game. There's a quack or a goose button or whatever. They can make noise.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was that button in that game, but there is a designated meow button. You get that once, like I think it's after this cinematic or the scene or whatever like that. But I love it. I don't say much about it because I didn't finish per se the game. I played it for like 20 minutes and then I just watched gameplay of it. But I love it. It deserves what award did it win at the?
Game Awards.
Yeah,
Nothing.
no, it won something. I forgot what it was. What it
It
won.
did win something.
Well, whatever it won, it definitely deserved it. I love it, and I actually want to purchase it myself so I can like sit down, play it a few times all the way through, and like really dissect the story. But it's see, look at this. It's a fucking cat. that's what
The
gets
selling point right at your feet.
yes, and like I'm a
Dead
huge
City. Jesus.
and I'm a huge person of like the cyberpunk aesthetic. And you see more of that as you see more neon lights and you progress through the story, like and simple puzzles. Like look at that, it's a fucking I keep saying it's a fucking cat because like it's just so simple yet innovative that so much can be said outside of what the protagonist says about the story. So most of the story is just based off of other characters and NPCs and stuff like that, and even visually, like
It looks like a place that I want to explore.
exactly. Like, listen, that's a secret fantasy of mine that I just want to explore, like abandoned buildings
Oh, okay.
and
I
stuff.
thought you were
like
about
that.
to say your fantasy is you want to be a cat And then he's gonna have
Like,
we're
all
gonna
right,
have a
now,
conversation after this.
like, what's going on here? Got some explaining to do.
Brian.
You got some questions.
It's just like I don't know,
Never in
guys.
my life.
I just always wanted to be a cat.
I just wanted to be a cat.
I just want to be engulfed in fur and just be on all four.
Bruh.
I don't kink shame. I really don't. But it's not for me. That ain't it, champ.
That ain't it, chief.
Every time, that ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it.
That ain't it. That ain't it.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure. See, look,
That cat is destroying that fan.
destroying. Look at the city. Does it look like it's like in tip-top shape?
So let's
Yeah, what
appreciate
about
the things
the
that it has working and functioning.
Yeah, this cat doesn't. This cat doesn't give a shit. Look at him.
Yeah, you just knocking shit down.
A menace to society. It's a fucking cat. Remember that, guys. It's a cat.
Gosh darn it. Still trying to take care of business, but love the game, love the visuals, love the puzzles. I probably give it like a 9.2 out of 10.
So
And
arbitrary.
Very. Yeah.
I mean,
0.2.
like, you know what? I would give it to a 9.5 because of the meow button. Love it.
Hey, meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Freaking meow mix. And look at that. You can scratch on the carpet. Look at that. You're just a fucking
All
cat.
the annoying things about a cat, knocking stuff over,
Right.
scratching.
You know what you
Drinking
could be doing
random
instead of
water.
playing this game? Actually get a cat. Oh wait, you do have a cat. And just watch it do these things.
Oh, yeah. See,
Like
listen.
watch your cat get in a bucket. Like how hard is that?
Listen, it's my brother's cat, and him and I got beef. It's ever since he scratched my finger the other week after I finished practicing. So
Oh,
I
dang.
might fight him. But we
Oh
could.
my
My
god.
cat jump boy. You know, the more I'm watching this, the more I'm sold on the game.
See,
Bruh, see, this cat's a fucking menace. Just like
It's
a
just too
regular
powerful.
cat.
It's
like
too
stray. The tagline should have been "Stray." It's a fucking cat. I love it. I like and subtle hints as to where to go if you get lost. Look at that. Love it. Peace de resistance. And I'm glad that they don't have actual rats because your poboy got traumatized from rats, especially after that New York trip.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, okay.
DeYante, what's your next pick? Oh God.
I'm gonna keep mine relatively short because I didn't I haven't beat this game because the game is like dumb long.
You already know what game you're talking about.
And yeah. One of my other game of the years is this lovely masterpiece in storytelling. Is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's part of this is the third part in originally an extremely difficult to acquire JRPG when the first game came out on the Wii, and it just disappeared for years because it was such a hot commodity. Because the game is just awesome. The first game is great. I just beat it end of last year, beginning of last year, something. I beat it sometimes last year. It was great, and that was like 100 hours, and with a little bit of like extra stuff to get into. Yeah. With still some like super boss in-game stuff that I could do. So it was good. I haven't played the second game because that game is even harder to find physically, which is the way I would want to have the game. But since that was such a super duper limited release, because the second game came out and then I think they released the definitive edition of the first game on the Switch.
Yes.
Yeah. So second game came out. They didn't have any faith kind of sort of really because their last game that they did was Xenoblade X, and so they didn't they weren't sure how this second game would be,
Which is strangely still not on the Switch.
which is extremely strange, and everybody's just waiting for that to just pop up out of nowhere. Like if we can get the first game, I'm pretty sure X is coming. Like there's no way, because people have barely played X. I've heard nothing but good things, but it's one of those weird titles that I got lost in the sauce. Our game came out this year, and I remember when I seen promotional material just for them revamping the Xenoblade 2 website, and they just showed like visual splash art here and there, and I was already sold. That was like early in like January or February or something like that, and so this was definitely a sick Nintendo getting a full $60 out of me, because I was very serious about getting this game. And it is an extremely well told story so far. Like it is great. Like there's a lot of dialogue in it, and it can feel like it gets overwhelming with dialogue, but the dialogue isn't anything confusing. It's very personal dialogue between the characters. Because the basic plot synopsis is basically it's just two warring factions that both are fighting for longevity in their particular race. And so the only way that they can have their race stay alive is by killing more of the other and getting their energy to power their own. It's
genocide.
crazy. It is very, very, very genocidal. And it works both ways. And some people think it's a curse. Some people think it's a blessing that they die, and like it's a ritual. And when they like
Jesus.
every person has a life expectancy, and if they once they hit that life expectancy, then they have to go through a ceremony where they pass on. And there's a lot of flute and recorder playing in it, and that's very, very prominent in the game. That's related to the ceremony and stuff with the two main characters. But all of the main characters, if you haven't seen already on the screen, like every character that you see on the screen is very important because they all have their own side of the war that they, fall upon. And, they used to not like each other. Now they have to work together for a common goal, which I can't really explain without spoilers and stuff like that. But it's told in such a personal way where it doesn't get annoying. Like they don't have these weird anime trope-ish characters that are kind of like, oh, I'm the big-breasted carefree one. Oh, I'm the tsundere. Oh, I'm the curious hot-blooded kid. They don't have that. I mean, they're similar. There's a tig-old bitty lady, but she's cool. Like she's not, oppressively trying to get like that fan service, which is great because this game is too depressing for there to be any semblance of that. Soundtrack is typical Xenoblade Chronicles soundtrack, and if anybody has heard any of the songs that I have sent you, y'all know that these songs are fucking bangers, and it don't stop.
They are. Yes, they are.
Oh my god! The first time I heard the fight music, like just the generic battle music when you're fighting like these level 2 bunnies. Well, no, not here because it's the very.
Why can't you run away from this bunny? I just seen him.
Okay, that's the big gripe about the game. It's a tutorial, and like the very beginning of the game can either turn you off immediately or you can kind of deal with it because it is a tutorial for every fucking thing. And there's a lot in the game, and I understand there's a lot of moving parts, like leveling up your characters, and like there's buying stuff and equipment and blah blah blah, and this, that, and the third. I get it, but it is just insane how much of the first 10 hours, solid 10 hours, you just sitting there with the game. It's just tutorial messages and exposition, tutorial messages and expositions. And it goes hand in hand. It's not like they just dump all the tutorial stuff at you at once, but they give it to you when you need to know it. and they kind of make it so that way they incorporate the story missions to lead to the tutorial stuff, which kind of helps mitigate it feeling like it's work. It's necessary because you need to get to the next story bit. So that's one thing that can get very, very annoying and can turn people off with the game. For it to be a Switch game, and for it, if you're looking at this like landscape when the camera pans out to like these large sections, it is and I'm still impressed to this day, even since the first Xenoblade, how much screen that the game and how much space that the game takes up. Like the areas are massive, they're sprawling, like it's visually stunning. And the only thing that would literally make it better is if it wasn't for Nintendo's hardware limitations. Because this game would be a literal spectacle at the very least at 1080p 60. Like the game would be like an 11 out of 10 just on visuals alone. Like they could sharpen some stuff up, rough out some edges so that way stuff wouldn't look so dull. And visually and like moving wise as the game is, it's great. It would be great, but for a Nintendo game, it's still great. Combat is slightly different from the first game, where the first game you had to like you had to pick abilities on like a scrolling wheel or something, and you just pick the ability and you do it. And like certain abilities have certain properties, like if you're behind an enemy, you do critical damage to it because it does back damage. So you'll do more damage if you're behind it versus if you're in front of it on the side. There's side attacks. There's team up attacks. There's like super critical moves and all that stuff looks cool and spark effects fly everywhere. Like you have 6 party members on the screen at all times and all of them will fight. So there will be a lot of things happening on the screen. It can get extremely messy and it is a chore if you are playing it on the handheld mode.
Oh god, that sounds
because
awful.
there is so much going on at times and everything is so tiny. So if you don't hate yourself, play it on your TV because it's just easier to see, it's easier to digest, and you won't be like trying to strain to see what your units are doing or whatever is going on in the game. But combat is fun once you get a grasp of it, because each button, like A, B, X, Y, is attached to a particular move, and the directional pad is attached to a different move, and so you just do them in tandem to like get them move, like get the monster to like start bleeding. And once you get the monster to bleed, then you can topple it, which knocks it down and stuns it so that way it can't attack. Then after you topple it, if you have a move that can daze the enemy while it's on the ground, then that stuns it for even longer. Then you can even shoot it up in the air and it starts spinning around for like 5 to 10 seconds at a time, and that's for you to wail on it even more with more combos and stuff. Like it's so fun. Like when it actually gets going and they introduce, you get past through all the tutorial stuff, the combat opens up so much where you're just like, damn, I want to keep fighting. I want to fight more and more. And it helps alleviate the grind of leveling up because you're always gaining experience for something. Mm-hmm. Like there's a shit ton of classes that each of those 6 characters can be, because there is like over 20 so odd side characters that you can kind of sort of use but not use. It's ridiculous. There's a lot of content. The game is not 100 hours just because the story is 100 hours. There's shit to do, and it's great. And there's a season like an expansion pass where they add more stuff and more side characters for you to add to your party. Like I've only played like 30-40 hours of it
Only.
but I'm looking forward to the rest. only And that's on and off because I've been playing other stuff too. I'm pretty sure this game probably wouldn't even be on the list if I had probably started playing this game recently when I bought it, which was Live Alive, because I heard that game's phenomenal.
So,
10 out of 10 Switch game.
we're getting a little long in the tooth.
Okay.
So
What?
yeah, we're like according to my recording, we're like an hour and 49 minutes in.
Oh yeah.
So Scotty, do you want to rapid fire any of these real quick? The
Oh yeah. Let me
Proteus or
do.
Vampires?
Really dumb quick. Vampire Slayer is easy. This game is like $6.
You still
Actually, not
messed
even
you still
$5.
messed up the name of the game.
What is it called?
Vampire Survivor.
Vampire
Sorry,
Survivors.
Not
First,
to be confused with Darkstalkers.
yeah. First, you said
Japanese.
vampires.
I see Chadman with 2 swords killing bats by throwing them. He's not even throwing them; they're just kind of shooting at him.
Okay, so hear me out. It is extremely influenced by Castlevania, obviously. But it's a roguelike where all you do is just live. You literally just don't get touched, don't let your health go down or anything. And it's just an endless wave of enemies, and when all you're doing is moving from left to right, up and down. You don't have to press nothing. You just move and try not to get hit. But you collect the crystals, the blue crystals that you're going over to level up the character, and the more you level up, the more shit that your character can do, and it can get ridiculously like crowded on screen. Like I was complaining about like how on the Switch with Xenoblade things get like really crowded and cramped. Good lord, like the screen, like at some points, like you will see like a swarm of bats that'll just come covering about like this much of your screen. Like I'm not even kidding, and they will swarm across your screen because they're just trying to kill you, and you have to be clever about moving around using the abilities that you get to choose to unlock, like that shit. And then you collect the gems, you keep leveling up, and you just get every upgrade is random. It's up to you to pick how you want the character's build to be, and no 2 playthroughs will ever be the same because all the pickups end up being different. And then you collect gold too, which helps you unlock other characters and other parameters to make the game easier, and so that you can live longer in the game and just see extra shit. And I think there's bosses, I'm pretty sure, and this game is very addictive. Like for $5, oh my god, you can literally sit here. Like this would be a great mobile game. Like I'm not kidding. Like they would make a killing with this game being on mobile. I'm not kidding. Like all you have to do is just move around and literally just not die. It gets very addicting, and the music is very reminiscent of Castlevania music, and I love Castlevania music too. So that's a plus. Very easy game, very simple purchase, $5. It's 11 out of 10 on Steam. Proteus. I have a very
Doom.
It is literally 2D pixelated 3D realm Doom, and it's fucking awesome. I love this game.
It's like the animations are in a lower frame rate.
They are on purpose, but the game runs at a buttery smooth 144. Like absolutely, it is ridiculous. This game is very well optimized.
I'm fucking with the style.
Ooh.
Yeah, like all the shooting effects and like the muzzle flash looks great, and really dark lighting. Like you can see the flash from the muzzle flash, and you can see like in the background, since the game has ray tracing too, where you could see the zombies or the enemies silhouettes from the muzzle flash. Like that shit's awesome. Visually the game is stunning. The gunplay is really fun. And it's a really good game if you want to if you're not comfortable playing multiplayer FPSs. This has a very meaty single player campaign. Like you get upgraded weapons. There's a shit ton of weapons in the game.
Yeah, this is dope. I am liking this.
I love me some Doom, bro. I would love the fuck out of this.
Yeah, it's got its own map editor and its own community of people that make maps and campaigns for you to play through in its entirety. So not only do you have just what the developers made themselves, you can make your own levels with the enemy layout, power-ups, whatever the case may be, to a ridiculous degree. Like the level editor is quite powerful. Quite powerful. And people make huge campaigns, very difficult, maybe like kill rooms that's like meant to fuck you up, and you gotta like figure out how to deal with it. Yeah, this game is awesome. I loved it ever since I purchased it. I have like 20 hours on this jump. Well, hold on, I guess I can give my hours on each of the games. I have 115 hours on Monster Hunter.
God dang.
Ooh.
Xenoblade, I don't know because I'm not about to put the game in. And Vampire Savior, I bought it like 2 days ago. I already have 5 hours on it. And Proteus, I have 8 hours in, and I think I'm like maybe halfway through. So, and this has multiplayer that is, I think, is quite dead, but it's there. Like, it is when you talk about video game as video games, this is a video game as video game. Like,
Yeah,
this shit's fun.
I would love to play this on PC, specifically on keyboard and mouse. That's,
Like, you don't need to know nothing about the dialogue or the story. Like, no, just go
and shoot shit. Go and shoot shit. Okay.
any quick hits from Max or Clayton?
Let me see.
I know you said
Nah.
Call of Duty earlier, Max.
Modern Warfare 2 game good. Graphics amazing. If you like Modern Warfare, you're really gonna like Modern Warfare 2.
I just
Where is that?
bought it yesterday. And we played a little bit, a few hours of it. I don't usually play the campaigns. I usually just stick with multiplayer. And Warzone. I do like Warzone. That's like the only battle royale that I like is Warzone.
And Call of Duty campaigns are usually very linear. This one is not.
Oh, really?
No, it's not. There's certain you can approach how you can. Yeah, of course, there's going to be an objective, but how you accomplish that objective is up to you. Very open, very open ended to how you can get things done. How you can approach different objectives. You can do it your own way.
Yeah, game good.
Game good. I like the gameplay of the gunplay of Call of Duty. It feels so satisfying. And
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2 feels a lot quicker than 1 and Vanguard.
Yeah, it does feel a little lighter on the feet.
Hey, God damn, does this game look fucking good? Like,
Yeah.
I can't say it enough. Like, Modern Warfare 1 already looked amazing, but this one even made it even better. The game feels good. The gunplay still feels amazing. It's Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty.
Carl's on duty, and he's doing well.
Clayton, any quick picks?
Wait, my chair.
The
What's
world.
that?
My chair was basically like, fuck you. But I don't have anything.
Well, you was about to lead the podcast.
Right.
Give me Silk Song. Give me Silk
I was about to
Song,
leave.
give me Silk
I was about to
Song,
leave
give me
living.
Silk
The
Song,
fuck?
Give me Silk Song. Give me Silk Song. Give me Silk Song. Give me
I
Silk
have
yeah.
one.
Give me Silk Song. That's all I want.
Give a rapid anticipated games.
Wait, hold up. I still have two I want to talk about.
Oh, yeah. You played this?
Yes.
I didn't know you had it.
Game Pass.
Oh, shit.
Game Pass. I got money.
Nigga, it's $15 a month. Shut up. Pretty sure you spend about that much on Apple Music, so don't come for me. Yeah. Anyway.
Actually, I am spend $9.99.
Shut up. I'll talk about this quick. 2 Point Campus. I actually didn't like 2 Point Hospital. It just wasn't my thing.
Even with the Sonic DLC.
I like
I
2.0.
forgot about the Sonic DLC.
Bro, I have Sonics like walking around in my hospital and they're just like chilling, him and Tails, and they're just like, it's just like,
Wait, you can have multiple Sonics?
I think so. They're like mascots. They're supposed to like cheer up the patients or something.
But 2 Point Campus was way up my alley. I just like the idea of just running my own school. And 2 Point fashion. There's a lot of cheeky humor with everything. So like you there's like a whole you can like specifically do campus parties and have them do that, or you can do like the actual topics that you can bring up for your students to learn, or the majors that you set. There, some of them are just like ridiculous stuff, and it's fun. There's a lot of flexibility to the designing of your campus, where you want to place buildings, what things you want to place. And I'm just a sucker for simulation games. I love simulation games. I love like having a set of problems that I need to solve and being able to design it and flex them that way. So I very much enjoyed 2 Point Campus. I need to go back to the game. I only put like a few hours. I put like less than 10 hours into it, but that was fun. I do want to talk about this game, High on Life.
Oh, yes. I don't know why I didn't mention this shit. Yes.
I started playing this a few days ago. Again, it's on Game Pass. This game is hilarious, and that is the biggest that's the biggest draw about this game. It is a humor-based game. The gameplay, like the actual gunplay, it's okay. Nothing to write home about. It's not awful by any means. It's not a Call of Duty. It's not a Halo. It's not an Apex feeling game. A lot of the the actual shooting is serviceable. It gets kind of meh in that department, only because one of the like concepts of the game is that your gun talks, and so they actually incorporate that into the story. He helps you along with the story. He says things that you need to do, but the problem with that means you're playing as one gun for a very long time. I know there's other guns that you get. I'm only on the second like big mission, and I know part of the big mission is that you're going to rescue this other gun, and you're going to obtain that gun. But the gun that you're seeing on screen, he's the first gun you get, and you're rocking with him for like the first 3 hours or so in the game. And then you get other abilities and stuff like that. So they try to keep it fresh with that, but you are just still using one gun for a very long time. But the humor in here is great. I've seen such mixed reviews for this game. People are either like giving this game like 4s out of 10s, 3s out of 10s, or like 9 out of 10s, 8 out of 10s, 10s out of 10s. Like, and it is just one of those cases. Either you really like the humor, like the Rick and Morty style of humor, because it's by Justin Roiland, so his company. So either you really love this humor or you really don't. I fall in the camp. I really love this humor. There's just so many like quick jokes. There's so much like smart dialogue. There's just so much funny situations. And yes, this is a game you could watch a playthrough of it, but it's got to be a game you gotta like authentically experience, just because of so much dialogue, or it can be very situational. Like this person right here, she's literally congratulating you for not shooting her child, because right. That little kid is so annoying. He's like pushing you when you're trying to get through, and he's just like, what you gonna do, shoot me? And like,
it looks so corny. Kill him if you really want to.
Right. And it's like, you could just shoot the kid if you wanted to in the game. Like the enemy dialogues, there's like parts where you're like going through the enemies and you're like killing a bunch of them, and they're like, hey, we're not the weak guys, are we? Like a lot of us shouldn't be dying this quickly. Or in this area there's a fissure and the waters is nothing but toxic, and like you're and you ask him, it's like, so why are you fishing if you know the water is toxic? And he's just like, I'm just driving up the courage to drown myself.
Jesus Christ.
It's such dark humor, but it's done so well. Um, I will say though, if you're used to Rick and Morty, the first gun you get is just
Morty's voice.
Morty's voice.
Morty.
Yeah, it's just his voice. So again, take that what you will. One of the people from Oni plays. I forgot which one. It's not Oni.
Or Julian or Ding Dong.
I think it's Julian. He's in the game. It's just like a very distinctive voice. But yeah, I very much enjoy it. It's been really fun. The game is not super long from what I can tell. So it looked like this gameplay is 6 hours, and that's just, I guess, if they're just like blazing through the game. But I like to actually go through different things and stuff like that. But yeah, really fun game. It's on Game Pass, and PC as well. High on Life. Really, really fun game. Okay. Yes, now we can do some quick recommendations for upcoming games.
Huh?
Hades 2. Hades 2.
Oh yes.
For upcoming games in the new year.
Oh yes, Hades 2.
Hades 2.
BioShock. That's not BioShock.
BioShock. No, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Is that coming this
Oh
year?
my god. No.
There was no announcement about this whatsoever, but I just want to speak it into existence. Halo 3 anniversary.
We got a while before that.
I just want that. I don't know why we don't have it, but I want it.
Let me look on your screen.
Yeah, let me,
Oh, that is very blurry.
A One Piece game. Oh, Forspoken. I'm excited for that.
Here's
too.
another quick one, even though it's not
Okay.
technically 2022. Persona 5, because it was freed from the shackles of PlayStation Hell, and everybody else was able to enjoy it now. So I was able to play Persona 5. I'm not super far into it, but God, what a game! That junk is fun. It's really well polished. The characters are great. I love the visual style of the game, and I'm not too big into JRPGs, but Persona 5 was really fun to start to dive into that. Ooh, Forspoken.
Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Forspoken.
Yes, Fire
I
Emblem.
played the demo for Forspoken. Top tier. Fire Emblem is one of those games that I can wait.
I could kind of too. I'm just
because
not
I
in the
got-
mood right now. And
Yeah.
I love it.
I know me personally. Once I start a Fire Emblem game, I'm going to put 100 some hours into it, like I did 3 Houses. So I'm gonna wait till that.
Kind of curious about Dead Space.
Wait, is that a remake?
The
Yeah.
reboot. It's not even a full remaster.
Yeah, it's a reboot.
Yeah, I wanted a full remaster because Dead Space 1.
Huh?
Dead Space 1 actually scared me when I first played it.
Oh,
Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, Hogwarts.
I'm a freaking nerd, even though J.K. Rowling is a turf. I still love my Hogwarts, my little Ravenclaw heart.
Wild Heart.
Specifically, holy shit, that comes out on the PlayStation too.
What?
That's dope. The Final Fantasy Final Bar line.
Oh, the
ripping
Theatrhythm games.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Got something to spend my money on. There's another Atelier Ryza game coming out.
I'm about to say there's another.
More
I'm
time.
about to say there's another Like a Dragon game.
That too. Oh, that's the different. No, okay, no, that one's actually different. That's the one that's in like feudal Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one looks sick because it's a remaster of an older game, I think.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Ooh.
Ooh, Octopath 2. Haven't played the first one, but I know it's good.
If I was-
Wulong.
Oh yeah,
Wulong.
Wulong looks sick.
Wulong.
Uh,
Skull and Bones. I'm tired of waiting.
I forgot about that game. I forgot the game existed.
Who wants to learn more about Bayonetta and Bayonetta Origins?
I still need to play 3.
Bruh, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, bro.
I know y'all ready for
Yeah.
that Peppa Pig world. And
Oh yeah, it's pre-ordered, baby. It's pre-ordered.
Yes.
Jedi Survivor is
Resident
going
Evil
to be
4
awesome.
remake.
Yes, Resident Evil 4 remake. We're just trying to rapid fire this. Why is Hogwarts Legacy comes out so much later on the other console?
I don't know.
Dead Island 2 still hasn't been released. Jesus Christ. April 28th.
Wild! It still hasn't been released. Fuck.
That game's a meme for not releasing.
And Mega
Legend
Man.
of Zelda.
Bruh, why is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League taking so fucking long, bro?
Yeah, the gameplay that they showed at Games Awards, it looks great.
I'm excited
wanna
for
play
Mega
that,
Man
yeah.
Battle Network and God of Rock. Ooh, God of Rock looks so fun.
Oh yeah, Battle Network Legacy Collection. Hell yeah, I'm getting that shit. I'm getting on the Switch.
Street
Street
Fighter.
Dude,
Fighter.
they want my
Yes.
money.
Street
Dude wants
Fighter.
my money.
Bruh,
Oh,
I am a Diablo fan,
three of
so
them.
I am looking forward to Diablo 4, without a doubt. Diablo 4.
Right. Like all the promotional material for Diablo 4 has been fire. And also Final Fantasy 16 is just gonna be amazing. Like I don't care what anybody says. Don't at me or anything. Like it's just gonna be an amazing game.
Okay, I
I
highly
can
doubt
feel it in my bone.
there's nothing like concrete for all these months yet, but to be announced, Jesus, it's a lot. Alan Wake 2, Aliens Dark Descent, just trying to Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Baldur's Gate 3, give me that.
Avatar.
Oh, Black Myth, Wukong.
Oh
That
yeah.
game's been sick.
Yeah, they've been showing a lot of things about that
Armored
shit.
Cyberpunk. That's the Jet Set Radio game.
Ooh.
Warzone Mobile? I don't know that was coming out. Coffee Talk 2. Interesting. Another really quick one. Coffee Talk. I don't know if it came out this year, but I know it came out on Game Pass this year. Really cool game. It's like a adventure game, and you kind of you're like the owner of this coffee shop, and you just have people come in, you hear their conversations, you interact with them, you make their coffee, but there's like storylines going on all at the same time. I didn't know they're making a sequel. That's cool. God, they're still trying to do Crossfire.
Oh Lord.
Crash Team Rumble.
Yeah, that thing, whatever that is.
Probably.
Bitch.
That's a maybe for me.
First Blood, PDA Tour.
Exo Primal.
Oh yeah, the dinosaur game from Capcom.
Right. Final Fantasy, yeah. I think for Flintlock was something interesting, I think.
I remember Flintlock. It was
16.
one of those showcases that looked cool.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 16.
Prime Mention,
heck yeah.
Forza,
Forza Motorsport, yes.
Frozen Flame. I remember that being something.
Oh, I didn't know to make a sequel to Ghost Runner. Okay.
Me neither. Oh shit.
Ghostbusters
Whole
Rise of
World
the
3.
Ghost World. A Whole World 3. Oh, yeah.
Whole
Yeah.
World 3 is
How can we
finally coming, y'all. It's finally coming. I can't wait.
Also, this
Hollow
title.
Knight Silk Song, baby. That's all I want.
We've been waiting for that for over a decade, boy. Good
Also,
Lord.
this name, Rise of the Ghost Lord for Ghostbusters. Why?
What the? Oh, that's a VR game.
Hyperlight Paprika.
Immortals of Edvum. They barely showed anything with that. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The game.
Okay.
Lies of P. That's the Bloodborne inspired game. I'm excited for that.
Marvel Spider-Man 2.
That's still slated for next year? Okay.
Ooh. The first one was really enjoyable.
Metal Slug Tactics.
I hope that game's not disappointing.
Mortal Kombat Onslaught. Moving out too, if they make the game online,
Right.
then there we go.
If I remember right, Nightingale looked pretty cool.
I think I remember seeing something about that. Power World, yep.
Ooh, party edibles.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
know
forgot
that.
about it. That's that
Payday.
Mario Party-esque game with the droopy animals. You've seen it before.
Okay.
Pikmin 4, Payday 3.
I forgot about Pikmin.
Okay.
Ravenlock.
Oh, Ravenlock, yeah, that was another cool one that was sold at the Xbox showcase.
Replaced look cool from the
Yes.
Video Game Awards.
And Redfall. I'm excited for Redfall.
Yeah, and Redfall. Sea of Stars, that's an indie thing for me. specifically.
I forgot about Sonic 2.
Silent Hill.
Oh yes, SpongeBob SquarePants, the Cosmic Shake.
Yeah.
Like, is he going to space? Like,
No doubt.
Starfield.
No doubt.
Starfield.
Starfield.
Yes.
Fallout and
Starfield.
Stalker 2, if that ever get released.
Oh, Stellar Blade. Oh my God, yes.
5 to
sir.
6, baby.
Again.
God, that game looks sexy, bro. Wait, hold on. Super Bomberman R2.
Yeah, that was announced a while ago.
Oh, I hope they have more in the goddamn game. Because the first one,
Probably.
they need to do Bomberman justice, bro. The first game was just not up to standard.
I will try the Lords of the Fallen if it looks good.
That game is clunky as fuck.
That was the original. This is a reboot.
Okay.
You're trying all over again.
Valheim.
Oh yeah, Valheim.
There goes
finally
the
coming to consoles.
Warhammer game.
Oh yes, Warhammer.
Why is there so much?
Yes, Warhammer. Yes, give me Warhammer. Yes, I want Space Marine 2. I want Darktide.
I need to try Darktide, because it's out on PC. It's on PC Game Pass, but they delayed the Xbox versions for some reason. But I know it's out, so I can actually try that. I need to go ahead and do that.
Bruh.
All right, and there we go. That's a lot. That is a lot, dog.
There's probably more to come.
It's definitely more to come because Nintendo does their January, February direct, and they show a bunch of stuff.
And then they piss everybody else off.
Okay, well, we've been here for a while.
Yes.
It's been a while. We're making up for lost time.
Right.
True.
So, thank you all for rocking with us. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Looking forward to 2023, and we will catch y'all on the next one.
On the flip side.
Deuces.
Peace.
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 Adios.